Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another follow-up video. So I wanted to talk about season 2 because I never really got to talk about season 2. I reviewed all 8 episodes. If you do want to check out my reviews for all 8 episodes, they're all on the channel. I may have reviewed episodes 5 and 6 together, I believe, but besides that, I had reviews for each episode, which is a lot of fun. Honestly, I do think for season 2, Prime Video should really just like release them all week to week, because I know with The Boys they do that, right? I think they release 3 episodes at first, and then they do like week to week after that. Like, people like week to week episodes just because there's a lot of talk about, just like what's going to happen next. And I think that it just kind of keeps the discussion there, and it's just a lot of fun. And like, you can kind of live in the story a lot more, it makes a lot of sense. When you do stuff like that, it's very hard to just like watch every episode, especially for me anyways, because you have to watch an episode, review it and edit it and do all that stuff before you can even check out the next episode. And it ends up being where everyone's watched everything already, and then there's almost like not even really a point to doing a review for every episode. And I don't know, it just kind of takes a lot of the fun out, because Fallout was something that I was looking forward to for a while, and it feels like it happened for a week and that was it. It just kind of like, I don't know. So I just hope that going forward, they release it week to week. But let's talk about season 2 here, because the last time I did a video, they never actually renewed it for season 2. So before we go any further, if you do want to get more Fallout content like this, and definitely make sure to be a subscriber. If you did subscribe because of Fallout, because I know that a lot of people subscribed to my reviews of those videos, and I would just like to know, I guess, what type of content that you would want. Obviously I cover a lot of Walking Dead, and I am starting to branch out into other content, but I would like to know, in terms of Fallout, what type of content you would want to see, because there's a lot of stuff that I could do videos on for sure, but specifically what, in terms of what story, this way I know just sort of the research I have to do on certain things and all of that. There's a couple of things that I do want to do some videos on. I do have a couple of ideas, but yeah, just kind of see what you guys think and whatnot. But let's actually talk about this story here and whatnot. So first of all, season 2 is going to be focused on New Vegas. That's going to be the next story, and it looks like it's going to be most likely a new story, because it seems like the games are actually a part of this universe's story, right? So like the events of New Vegas, I don't remember the exact year, but it was definitely before this show's timeline, right? I think this show is set the furthest in the timeline, or maybe it's behind Fallout 4, or it's like right after Fallout 4. But the events of New Vegas obviously happened beforehand, and so obviously this next story is going to be a little different. In a way, it's kind of exciting because it's almost like a sequel to that story, or I mean, you can't really view it like that, but like they're going back there. So I just wonder if there's going to be certain things that are sort of brought up in terms of like Mr. House, and if there's space aspects and whatnot to the season here. Season 2, I do think, is most likely going to be out in late 2025. Could be early 2026, but late 2025 to me kind of makes sense. Like, I don't think it's going to be a year. Obviously, when they first announced, I don't know when that was, but it was a couple of years ago, and it took a while because you had to like sort of get the cast, and you had to get like the writers, and obviously a process like that is going to take a bit to sort of get the show up and running. And now that they did that, they have everyone there, they've established everything, the story, they know what they're doing. I think that they just kind of have to go and film. I'm sure a lot of season 2 has been written. A lot of the times when you write season 1 and you're filming it, a lot of the writers are already working on the next part of the story, and it might be a lot of just early drafts and whatnot. But I think at this point here, since they knew the success of season 1, especially right now, they are probably, a lot of the episodes have probably been written. They know where they're going and stuff, and it's just really in pre-production right now. In terms of filming, they could film later on this year. I could definitely see that. I think that they could film later this year and then early next year and whatnot, and I think have it out for late 2025. But I could also see the argument in terms of the release window. Like, it depends, because I don't really know how Prime operates in terms of releasing TV shows. Like, I really do just kind of go based off of The Boys, and from what I remember, The Boys is always out every June or July or something like that. So I don't know if that was the case for like the first couple of seasons, but I just know the last couple of seasons I feel like was always like a summer release. So I feel like they kind of like to stick to the dates that work for their shows. So Fallout might be a show that just comes out every April. And so in that sense, maybe we have to wait 2 years. I would love it if they can film later this year and then have it out for April next year. But I just think shows nowadays, they take a lot longer to make. And that's one thing I've noticed too. And it's not just with TV shows or even movies. It's like all media right now is taking a very long time to make. You know, games right now, the gaming industry is taking a big hit right now because games are coming out every 4 or 5 years because they're just so big now that it takes a lot of people to work on those games, and there's constant bugs and they got to fix this and that. And I mean, just really look at the last couple of years. There hasn't been a lot of games that came out, like AAA games, right? So I know that's a whole thing right now in the gaming industry. You know, it's definitely like that's something that is a big issue for sure. And I think that with TV shows and movies, there is sort of an element to that. You know, I think that they are taking a bit longer to be made. It's definitely not in the same, you know, place. And there was also the strike last year, right? That definitely postponed a lot of writing a lot of TV shows. And that's why I do think, you know, starting this summer, we're going to see a bunch of shows coming out of nowhere. So maybe things go back to normal. Maybe that was really the only reason. But yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, the fact that TV shows take so long to come out with now, it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it is just because the quality's better. And I think that they're just taking more time to work on things to make it, because the standard's so high now, right? And I just look at a show like The Walking Dead, like those shows, they come out once a year, but it's only like 6 episodes. I think they are increasing it to 8. But, you know, those spinoffs are, you know, they used to do 16 in a year. They'd have a lot of shows coming out. So it's definitely, you know, they're working on it a lot more. Fallout, I think, is going to be the same thing. I just look at a bunch of other TV shows, you know, they're sort of doing the same exact thing. A lot of those shows where, you know, you have a lot of visual effects and all of that, it's like it takes 2 years. Like, we're not in the era anymore where you always had Game of Thrones coming out every single year, or like Walking Dead coming out every single year. I mean, Walking Dead does have content coming out every year, but I just more mean like a season of every show, right? Like Fallout season 2, I don't know if it's going to be out next year. I think it'd be really amazing. I would love it if it could come out in early 2025. But at this point, I just kind of feel like it's going to be a little bit later, and it could be a thing that comes out every 2 years or something like that. Because I don't know, I feel like TV shows are sort of viewed as like movies in some sense because there's such a big budget now, right? So I think that's what is sort of going to happen here with Fallout. And, you know, in terms of where the story can go for season 2, I think there's a lot of aspects to the game that you could definitely, you know, obviously introduce here in the story. You know, a lot of things that would have to make sense. I will say, in terms of just the fan reaction to Fallout Season 1, definitely a lot of criticism. I think most people now, though, just kind of get it. I think most people are just like, you know what? Like, there's things that are going to change, or there might be things here and there. But I think overall, you know, I really like the story. I do really like the story. And I think that, you know, you should definitely follow as much as you can of the New Vegas storyline. But you can definitely change some stuff up here because some time has passed. And I think that you are able to do that. You also have newer characters, right? Like, you do have characters like Maximus and Lucy and Cooper that are obviously, you know, like just really incredible characters. Definitely going to change the story here. You have Lucy and Cooper obviously going to search for her father. That's going to lead them to New Vegas at some point. And then you have Maximus, which I don't know how he's going to eventually get back into the story here, but it's probably going to be like a Brotherhood of Steel storyline that will eventually sort of, you know, get him to go over there. It depends on what they come up with next. Like, that's, I think, the thing about season 2 is you can kind of see where they're going in terms of that story, but we don't know the main thing yet, because the whole thing of season 1 was we need to get this head basically to Moldaver. And we didn't even know what was really going to happen at that point. That's sort of the mystery, which was a good mystery to have, definitely. You know, you want to have mystery like that in your shows, but they got to come up with something different here for season 2. And, you know, sort of another goal here, which Lucy and Cooper do sort of have a goal in general right now. There is a lot of mystery behind Cooper's backstory and his family. Are they still alive? Like what's going on there? And so I'm just very excited about season 2 because I think that Fallout really did, at least for me personally, it was one of those things where I needed another TV show to watch to get excited about. And it was a while, honestly. I haven't really watched a lot of TV or movies in a while, just because I haven't really cared to. There hasn't been a lot of stuff that I've really cared to watch, but Fallout was that show where I was like, I just remembered the feeling of playing the games, and I loved playing the games. I haven't played in a while. Fallout 76 was the last game I played, and I played it for a couple of months when it was released, however many years ago. You know, honestly, at first I liked the game, and I was always defending the game, and then it kind of, I don't know, I saw the faults in the game, but a lot of people are telling me that it's better now. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely more interested in playing Fallout 4 and doing some of that, so that's kind of my main focus right now. And I just think that, yeah, the Fallout universe right now is alive more than ever. It's honestly been a long time, and so the success of Fallout 1 honestly is really incredible. And I think Fallout Season 2 is going to be even better. You know, there's going to be newer characters that you can introduce, a lot more stuff that you're able to get into here. And everyone loves the show. Honestly, a lot of people are watching the show. I think it's second in all-time viewers or something like that, like just behind Rings of Power, which obviously was a very big show for Prime, even though that show, I never really watched all of it. I mean, I kind of tried to. It was hard to watch, but Season 2 looks really good. It definitely does. So I kind of want to go back and check out Season 1 and just, yeah, obviously just get ready for Season 2, which I believe comes out in August. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to talk about Season 2, talk about the renewal, talk about the release date there, and somewhat of a storyline here. Like, I guess that's probably where I should probably go with this next is, you know, where things ended in New Vegas, and I guess, you know, just the time that has passed and what they could do with the story going forward here. So yeah, stay tuned for that video, but definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.